I wanted to make a video regarding an experience that I've had recently. So, as some may know, my family and I we stopped eating processed food. Right? Very minimally processed foods. That's all we consume. Things like some cereal we used to buy, we stopped eating that because we're becoming more and more aware of what's in the food that we purchase, right? So we try to eat food as close to their natural state as possible, which is great. We've been feeling great personally since going raw vegan for about a week and then not consuming any processed foods. I haven't had sugar, actual sugar, in months, maybe almost a year now. I haven't purchased sugar. We use maple syrup and things of that nature. Since doing that, I've noticed that I used to get tired in the afternoon. I sit in front of a computer most of the day, so I get tired by, let's say, 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This hasn't happened at all. That slump of energy has totally disappeared, so it feels great. Now, what I want to talk about is when someone does this, goes either raw vegan or starts eating food that is not processed or very minimally processed foods. You eat foods the way that we've been eating, and then one day you go out with the kids, you're like, hey, you know what, let's have some vegan ice cream, let's have some Italian ice, let's have a, I don't know, those vegan nuggets, the plant-based nuggets that they sell. I got them for the kids and my wife ate some of them. It's amazing how we are feeling sick constantly, and yet we don't realize it until we stop eating those things that made us sick all the time, which we got used to, by the way, because we get used to feeling sluggish, having brain fog, being physically depressed, not having much energy. We get used to that, right? And then we stop eating those foods that create that in our bodies. The phlegm goes away, the inflammation, I guess, at least for my wife, goes away. Any kind of breathing issues, all of that stuff goes away. It starts going away once you obviously switch to a plant-based diet, right? That's a given. Now, once you remove all processed foods, that stuff is completely gone. Now, you don't realize it. It's like the frog. When you put a frog on the stove and you slowly start boiling it, the frog will stay there and would just cook, right? So there isn't really a shock. Therefore, our bodies and our minds get used to the fact that, hey, you know, I just feel sluggish. Hey, that's just the way it is. I'm getting older. Like I heard so many acquaintances and friends say to me in the past. And then one day you make that switch. You no longer eat certain things, you start feeling much better, which happens gradually, therefore you don't really notice it much. And then one day you go out and you decide to eat, like, not entirely, because we didn't like go and buy pizza and dairy or anything like that. We just bought things that are more processed. My experience with Italian ice was that this is the sweetest thing I've ever tasted. I used to love Italian ices, especially the lemon flavored ones. And I always thought, hey, it just tastes like lemon. But no, it does not taste like lemon. It tastes like pure sugar. And as soon as I consumed it, like within minutes, well, I couldn't finish the whole thing because it was too sweet, right? But within minutes of taking a couple of spoons of Italian ice, my throat closed up, and it's like my body was fighting and saying, whoa, what in the world is happening here? We need to fight this. So shut everything down. My throat closed up, tightened up. I started coughing. It was amazing. My wife started coughing. She had an issue where she would cough constantly for months on end, for years and years, until I met her. Then she went on to a plant-based diet and those things went away. Now, just consuming that sugar from, I think she had a vegan ice cream, that brought some of those effects back for a couple of hours. The kids just started coughing and felt uncomfortable. And it goes to show how we just don't know how bad we feel until we experience what it is like to not feel that way anymore. So that's what happened to us. Then I went and bought, like I said, some vegan nuggets for the kids. Just because we figured, let's do something a little bit different. They had a prepackaged vegan lasagna also, which they ate. I didn't eat it, so my wife ate some of them. Then my wife has a stomach ache. My son and my daughter, they all have stomach aches. And they're like, oh my God, it's so painful. They feel bloated. My wife feels inflamed. She claims that she gained weight just from eating that. Her belly gets big and hard. And so, and come to think that she did lose quite a bit of weight. She looks a lot healthier and fitter now, right? But before, eating those things, we just get used to them. We think that's normal, but it is not. That's the problem. We get used to consuming things and to seeing, well, whether consuming things in our bodies or in our minds, we get used to doing so and feeling bad so much that feeling bad becomes our natural state. But the truth is that it isn't. It's not normal for us to feel bad. It's not normal for us to have phlegm and a runny nose and that stuff is not normal. You know what's normal? Waking up, feeling light and being full of energy and never getting tired until it's time for you to go to sleep. That's what feels normal. So I wanted to share that. It was a very eye-opening experience because we went so long without consuming anything that's processed. When we went back to, well, we did go back to it. When we tried processed foods, that's a big no-no, man. I don't know. Like, I don't care. Beyond Meat and whatever meat substitutes are out there, whatever candies or whatever cookies we could buy, I am not consuming any of them. I am more aware of what's in the food, and therefore I always read the labeling and the nutrient facts on all the products that I purchase. But even if it's for fun, just one day, there's nothing that's making me consume any of that stuff. Because once you get to this side where the grass is greener, once you get to this side, you experience what it's like. To go back feels so horrible that it's absolutely not worth it. Don't do it. If you're on that side, if you're consuming a lot of processed foods, please just try 1 week of non-processed foods and see how good you feel. The symptoms were so bad. Again, everything's relative, right? Some people live here in terms of uncomfortability, right? We got down here where we're not uncomfortable at all. We feel great. So just a little bit of it, which would have been normal to everyone else, felt so horrible that I had to immediately do a cleansed celery juice, a blueberry smoothie with cilantro. We ate a lot of salads and greens, dark leafy greens, because we had to cleanse ourselves. I even had to give my daughter apple cider vinegar. Wow, it's amazing. That was my experience, and I wanted to share. Thanks for watching.